that's the way that went. Later, the ninth grade year for Juan, you came to me and said that he was having some difficulties, that he had received a concussion, and that you felt that it was due to that assault that took place, to that altercation, that you wanted to see. I told you that I would be willing to help you, and whatever information you had, presented to the DA to see if that made any difference. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on them. I don't remember you. Did you bring me that paperwork? Because you said you had to take them to a specialist, and I don't remember ever receiving that paperwork.
Actually, whenever it's already October of 2017, and he still continues to have medical issues. When I followed up with you, the start of when my son went into the ninth grade, the start of the ninth grade, when I spoke to you, when the assault happened, when Edgar assaulted my son, you told me you would call me with the police, I guess with information as to if it was filed with the DA or accepted. The entire summertime went through, and you didn't call me. No one called me. So I followed up with you, not to ask you about going back to the DA with his medical records. I called to get a follow-up to see what the status of that was, the charges. And that was the beginning of my son's ninth grade year. And I think what you told me is I called and I went to go meet with you at Horseman. That was at the beginning of the school year 2016. You told me that you apologized. You said, "I'm so sorry. Someone should have called you." That nobody called you. You were in shock that no one had called me. And I said, "No, nobody called me." You were
I
out.
remember that. You're right. Correct. Because I had.
You were out for, I don't know for what reason. I don't know if it was personal or what it was. And I apologize for, I don't even remember the reason you were out, because you didn't go into detail other that you had been out for family, I guess, or something like that. Anyways, you said you were going to follow up. And then I think a week passed by, or 2 weeks. Don't remember the exact time. But then I called you again, and I asked you, and that's when you told me that the DA had not. Oh, I think I went in to meet with you again. The DA didn't accept the charges. And then what you told me is, and I'm going to quote you, quote unquote, you said, "I can present the information back to the DA a different way." And when I asked you, what do you mean by a different way? You said, "Well, just something different." And I said, "But it was an assault." And I said, "I'll just bring you the medical records." And my son is still he still continues to have issues. And what you had told me, and what Miss Coy had told me when I had been contacted and through the investigation, the final investigation was that it was retaliation. Edgar assaulted my son on retaliation. And what you said that the DA had said, according to what was submitted, is that my son was engaged in the fight. According to the witnesses that I had, and according to the conversation with Miss Coy, the final conversation, because I had told Miss Coy if my son had any involvement, then he needs to be punished. And he wasn't. My son wasn't punished because this was strictly retaliation, according to Ms. Coy's report and investigation. And now also to Mr. Alfaro, I gave you permission to get the video from my son's phone. And what you did is you took his phone. You kept his phone to look for the video, and you had my son's phone was in your possession. And that's not what I gave you permission to do. When my son came home, he said, "Mom, the Officer Alfaro took my phone and kept it just about all day." I said, "That's not what I gave him permission to do. I gave him permission to get the video from you."
Ms.
So
Gonzalez, with all due respect, there's a way we need to get those videos out those phones. I can't just do it right there and then and give it back to him. There's a way we do it.
Yeah, we could have emailed it to you. With all due respect, Mr. Alfaro, we could have emailed it to you. I could have given you a copy, but you didn't have consent to keep my son's phone at all for any reason. Anyways, we need to move on with this because my son is still having problems, and I know that there's a statute of limitations. So if you're telling me that I can't get a copy of their report, I understand that, but I also understand that I need to go to the administration office at this point.
Okay. I mean, that's if you feel that your case was handled incorrectly, you have every right in the world to go and file whatever complaints you need to file.
Because I know that he was your student, and I know that he was under your care, and he was your project, and I'm grateful that right now he's able to go to early college. That's awesome. That's awesome. And I know that you kept a close watch on him because he was your test tube student. And I'm very proud that you're doing. Yeah, I understand that you're doing an awesome job with the kids. I understand that. But in the meantime, my son was assaulted, and for the DA to come back as he was engaged, that's totally incorrect. So I'm going to go ahead, since you told me you can't give me the copies. I don't understand, or that's fine. I just don't understand why I can't even get even a date as to when that report was submitted, because if you go to the police department, you get a copy. That's public information. Whether it's with certain things, you can pretty much go to the police department and get a copy. But if you're not willing to give me any further information, then I can just go.
My department policy states that, again, we don't give out police reports to parents.
That's right. You can cross out,
and they can confirm that. They can confirm that at the administration office.
And you can cross out. I just need to find out. I want to know, and it's going to become a public information. If I have to hire an attorney, I will do that, because I need to see what information you submitted on your behalf of the Goose Creek Police Department to the DA for them to come back. And I'm quoting you because you're the one that told me that what their answer was that my son engaged in that fight. And you know darn well that that's incorrect. If that was the case, why wasn't my son disciplined?
Again, I gotta try to pull up the stuff too.
I would appreciate if you would do that, Mr. Alfaro, and I'm going to try to meet with you one more time. And if you don't have to give me, I don't need the names. I understand that that's privacy. I understand that. To protect the students underage, but I need to find out exactly how that was worded and what video, because you had my son's phone, yet you didn't present the video that you were supposed to get for my son. You presented, when I went back to you, you said you had your own video that you presented, not my son's, not the one my son's, a friend of his.
There was only one video of the whole thing.
No, but I had a different video. You said yours. I
was never given a different video.
Because you told me, Mr. Alfaro, you told me you didn't need it, that you had one from somebody else. But then again, you kept my son's phone. So if indeed you took the one that my son had, I'd like to see just a small clip of that. Because there were several videos that the students took. But either way, I'm going to give you time to go ahead and look through your records, because time has lapsed and you're in a new position. And I would love to come in and meet with you one more time before I proceed to the next step.
Yes, ma'am. You have to give me some time, because I need to check the old administration. We changed administrations in January.
Right.
We don't have the same administration. The old chiefs of police are no longer here, and this new chief of police brought in new stuff. So I need to see where those records are.
Good deal. How long do you think? A week, 2 weeks? Because the time is running out on time to file charges. And if I have to just start a brand new file of charges, then that's what I'll do. But I'm going to go ahead and wait to see what you have, because I'd like to see at least what video you submitted. Because when I asked you if you wanted the video I had, you said no, that someone else had provided, not my son and not the one I had, which is the same one. Me and my son had the same one. But at this point, Mr. Alfaro, my problem is my son has been injured for life.
If you can give me about a week, let me see what I can come up with. So like that, I will actually want you also to speak with my supervisor.
Yes.
I think you get better. Again, I'm one of those people, Ms. Gonzalez, that I lay everything out there. And I'm not going to go back on what I said or didn't say. I'm not one of those people.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So I'd rather you speak with my supervisor also, so you can feel more confident of what's going on. Now, the one thing I can tell you is we have to look for these things because I don't know where the old administration kept them. I wasn't a supervisor then. I don't know what's going on then. They did, however, they did their thing. We're going in now and making sure that we clean up whatever we need to clean up and straighten out whatever we need to straighten out. So give me some time to look for it. Give me about a week to see if we can pull up old records, and I will. Hopefully, my chief is back by then, and I will have you sit down with him so you can express your concerns to him.
Okay, because I believe that when you told me that they didn't take the charges, it's because that he was engaged. So I should have at that moment stopped you and said, if that's the case, why wasn't my son disciplined? And at that moment, I think that supplemental information should have been submitted to the DA.
You have to understand two things, Ms. Gonzalez. Criminal cases and administrative school cases are two different things. The DA, it's a separate entity from the school.
That's right. I understand that.
The school does their discipline as to their rules and regulations.
I understand
The district attorney picks up whatever charges they feel that they need to pick up.
According to the evidence that's presented.
Presented to them, exactly.
Yeah, I understand that, Mr. Alfaro. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with you on that. Because
absolutely, I'm not arguing with you neither.
Without you having your documentation in front of your face so you can see exactly what was said. But I know that what was said to me at that time, and that's, like, at this point, irregardless of what happened now, at this point, my son has medical issues. And that it's unfortunate because he has medical issues, and your little test tube baby continues with his life normal. My son has to see a neurologist, and he's not able to stay in school, and I don't think that's right. And all this started the moment Edgar kicked him in the head. It was strictly retaliation. I think something should have been done further on the school district's part. And then there's testing because it's the end of the school year, and my son has to see the guy that just assaulted him. And because I have taught and brought up my son a better person, my son did not go beat his ass up. Because I have taught my son not to do that, and that's not right. That's not how you handle things. But I'm having to deal with a sick child for the rest of his life. And all this time, Edgar gets to attend, early college, and I'm proud of him. I'm very proud of him because he did need help. He needs someone in his life, but that it's unfortunate for my son. And thank God my son wasn't killed, because any blow to the head could have had a catastrophic effect. My son suffers from migraines every single day. Do you know how debilitating that is? He can't even go and play sports. He can't have a normal life because of that, because of what Edgar did. And for the school district to come back and say that my son was engaged in fighting, that's just unreal. And that was from the report from Ms. Coy. She said after her investigation, because I pursued it, I said, Ms. Coy, if my son was involved in any way, I need you to punish him. He needs to be punished, and he needs to be taught a lesson. So anyways, Mr. Alfaro, I know that you're in a different position. I'm going to go ahead and give you some time, and I will expect a call from you, please, in a week.
Yeah, absolutely. I will give you a call in a week.
And I don't want to hear, please don't tell me that someone else should have called me back like it happened last semester, during your summertime that you were out, because whoever you left in charge dropped the ball on that.
Again, no, ma'am, you'll get a direct phone call from me. Again, hopefully my chief is here by then so you can express your concerns to him.
Thank you so much.